principal in the nation's first atomic spy trial leaves New York's federal court. An electronics expert, he's being tried with Julius Rosenberg, electrical engineer, for conspiring to deliver to Russia the vital secrets of the atom bomb. Also a defendant is Rosenberg's wife in this drama of espionage that endangered the country's security.
Fox Movie Tone news coverage there of the Rosenbergs, accused, convicted, and executed as Soviet spies in 1953, a period in our country when suspicion, intrigue, and Cold War tension dominated the headlines. That tension and some Cold War paranoia reignited this week when authorities rounded up 11 men and women accused of participating in a bizarre spy ring. The FBI calls them sleeper agents from Russia. Redhead was the headline in the New York Post, spotlighting flame-haired Anna Chapman, one of those arrested in this spy ring. We're kind of chuckling about it, Ellis. It, I guess, could be serious, but here's one of the best headlines that we saw this week.
Lay it on.
Mediaite.com wrote, "Sexy Russian spy captures media attention because sexy Russian spies capture media's attention."
Now, I have to admit, John, that's a story I would read. Listen, these spies had every single thing we could want, right? High-tech gizmos, hot-looking women. They had everything but secrets. It doesn't seem as if they actually knew anything, which is why, incidentally, they were not charged with espionage here.
Well, but are the media taking this seriously?
Look, no, they're making fun of it because it's infinitely mockable. But there is a serious issue here that the media are simply not dealing with, which is the Russian spy program is still on autopilot. What else from the good old Soviet days is still on autopilot? The biological warfare program that they said they were going to get rid of? Or how about
Putin?
And by the way, did any of the media say, are we, the United States, doing the same thing in Russia? I mean, the fact that it's such a pathetic bunch of, you know, kind of bumblers doesn't make it not a serious story, and I don't think it's been treated seriously.
Well, the president seemed to try to minimize it. You know, he had President Medvedev for burgers at his favorite burger joint there in Alexandria, and then comes this Russian spy bust. The White House seemed to want to throw a wet blanket on it, and I guess did the media concur?
Right. Well, President Obama, of course, has staked his presidency on future international brotherhood, international disarmament, everybody getting along, rule of international law. And so the fact that Russians are acting like the Soviets, as Judy said, is completely just doesn't fit into the happy universal federalism Obama narrative. So he just ignores it, which I suspect will have implications for the way that the Justice Department pursues this case down the road, as in not pursuing it very hard, not putting Russian diplomats under oath and so on to investigate, because they don't want to discover that America has genuine enemies in Russia. And I would also say, by the way, down the road somewhere, China.
And you know, the Russian media have also made a big deal of this case, but they say that it's sort of a sham, that it's aimed at derailing the improvements in U.S.-Russian relations.
Which is absolutely false. I mean, you have a foreign affairs expert, a Russian security expert, come on Fox News this week and say that there are the same number of spies now in the United States from Russia as there was during the Cold War. And other countries, too, it begs the question, how many other countries have spies in this country right now spying on us? And I see very little coverage of that, too.
All countries is the answer.
All countries
is
May
the
we
answer.
always have such incompetent spies, people using invisible ink and Morse code.
So the question is then, Judith, why
please.
didn't they leave them there? I mean, I wonder why they wouldn't just let them go and we could spy on them.
The media stories are wonderful about this, the terrible troubles they had with them, the constant requests for money, the fact that they couldn't get their expensive technology to work. I mean, it just doesn't get better than this as a story.
But you have covered serious spy stories in the Middle East and so forth. I mean, it can be a very deadly business.
Yes, it can be very deadly, and the Russians kill. They've killed all over Europe. They killed in London. So, you know, I do think that obviously this was very embarrassing for the president, and only one newspaper, the New York Times, pointed out that Obama was unhappy with this story, not with the fact that the Russians were still doing this, but with the timing of the announcement so close to the cheeseburger summit. I found that very bizarre.
Yeah, is there a portion of this, you know, this scandal, I guess, spy scandal, that the press has missed?
Well, I mean, I guess it would have been nice if we'd found out about it 5 years ago, or however long it's been going on, but Listen, can we be grown-ups for 1 second?
Okay.
All countries
All
do
right.
this against all other countries, and it will ever be thus.
I'm not sure there are too many American couples who have settled in Moscow trying to build themselves a new life.
I hope
We've
there
got
are.
a few over there spying,
Yeah.
though,
Yes.
like that. I think we have a few.
Anna Chapman, is there a movie deal in this for her?
Oh, probably.
Maybe a
I mean,
Playboy deal.
she is one of many that they've brought in, and yet she's the only one that they seem to be focusing on. And every picture of her, she seems to be wearing something skin tight. She's scantily clad. I mean, they've sensationalized this and made it into one giant joke. It's like the Bourne Identity. It's the Keystone Cops of spies.
Yeah, I know Jim is shocked at that part of the story.
Again, one reason the media kind of like the story because the stakes appear to be so low, and I think they're being fooled, though, into thinking this is just about people who should have been Googling as opposed to trying to seduce Democratic contributors.
A little media rope-a-dope, maybe. We'll see. Time for